feel like my approach to the cards and my approach to querents has really evolved because of my own life, because of the circumstances that I've experienced, and because of the world in general. Hi, I'm Chingay Labrador, and I'm the person behind Practical Magic. In Practical Magic, I do tarot readings, oracle readings, I create decks that all aim to merge the mundane and the magical together. I try to make all the woo-woo stuff as accessible as possible, and I've been doing this for a number of years, professionally and personally, and I thought I'd come on here today to talk about how my experience and my practice as a tarot reader has changed and evolved. I'm going to be flipping through a lot of my own personal favorite decks while I talk you through the ins and outs of growth as a tarot reader over the years. My understanding of the cards has been deeply affected by the structures that I've exposed myself to, the systems. And I think the systems that I've learned have also been affected by the teachers that I've learned from. So at first, I learned online from Elle North, and her lens was focused on the 8 limbs of yoga and how that can be related to the major arcana. It was a very yoga-centric way of looking at the tarot because that was where my life was at the time. And then I took a course under Mysterium with Rob Rubin, and he talked about the Rider-Waite-Smith. And that influenced how I approached Rider-Waite-Smith cards. I also went online and learned from Kelly Ann Maddox's series on YouTube, and that taught me about numerology. And now, my readings are also affected by how I look at numbers. Teachers can really affect the way you view how the cards are structured and all these meanings, and that's why I think it's important to expose yourself to a number of ways of looking at these systems. You're informed by the systems, you're informed by your teacher, you're informed by your current life experiences as you learn the cards. Because I feel like as much as we can look at the cards objectively, because there are dictionary meanings to these cards, the meanings that we pick and choose, the ones that we cherry pick from the little white book, will be informed by where we're at, which season of life we're at. So something can change depending on what you're going through. Like your understanding of the Empress card, for example, will change depending on whether you're a maiden, a mother, or a crone, for example. So different seasons of life can also affect your understanding of the cards. The cards definitions may be set, but they're also fluid. They don't have hard edges. They mix and meld and bleed into each other depending on what we're going through. The context that was surrounding us when we were learning the cards is so important also, because that kind of colors the way we look at things. It affects the certain meanings that we grip and hold on to, and it also affects what we don't really pay attention to so much. And I feel like the understanding of tarot, it's something that grows as you evolve as a reader. I think that you should be worried if your understanding of the cards remains stagnant, because I feel like we're constantly changing as people, and so should our understanding of the cards, because the cards are a reflection of our lives, our beliefs, our ways of seeing the world, and our ways of relating to others. Setting can also affect how you read the cards. I've read in events, in pop-ups, in public, in restaurants, and then also in very private spaces. And my exposure to all of these settings has really shifted the way I read. Sometimes I have to make it really quick because it's an event and there's a line of people waiting. But then other times I have more privacy with the person, and that can lead to a really, really long reading where I have to also be in control of my boundaries and, how I speed things up or how I pace myself with a person. Sometimes settings can also affect our headspace. So I have to be really attuned to how I'm handling my energy and like matching the person who I'm reading for, matching the vibe of the space. That all can change and grow. After the pandemic, I realized that I really just wanted to do email readings, and that's me typing things out on a PDF. That's not going to resonate with a lot of people, so I think that also affects the types of people who go to me for readings. The way I read in a very tense setting and the way I read in a very relaxed setting has shifted. I feel like I'm a lot more protective of my space as a reader after a number of years. In the beginning, I was so excited to do all these readings, and so I just put myself in all sorts of settings. And now I think I'm in a part of my life where things have kind of toned down. I enjoy reading while I'm traveling as well. So that's something that's changed and something I've learned from. Like, I like being informed by the space that I'm in. It kind of excites me. So while I do a lot of online readings when I'm traveling, the new space, the new energy that I experience just makes me want to read outdoors. And because this has also affected the kinds of readings I do, I feel like my customer base, the querents who go to me, have also changed. I mean, I've had some loyal customers over the years, and I thank them for keeping me gainfully employed over the years. But I think people's expectations have changed because of the way I read and because of how I've evolved. In the beginning, I had to weed out a lot of people looking for predictions, looking for, future forecasts. And now I found that people who go to me, they know my style, and so their questions and their queries are a lot more in sync with the way I read, and that's something I'm super grateful for. My understanding of where clients are at has also changed the way I read, depending on whether they tell me a lot or tell me very little. I'm able to adapt. So I can give a completely intuitive, no questions asked reading, or something that's more based on very concrete and specific, very detailed questions. This is a lot harder to describe and define, but I think generally the vibes have changed over the last couple of years. How I tap into my intuition has changed as a reader, and it's also affected by everything I've mentioned before. Sometimes I'm reading for someone who immediately makes me want to lean into the more logical side of my brain, and then sometimes someone's going through something, they provide context that makes me just pull things out of the air, and I have no idea what it means, but eventually things kind of make sense. Like, I feel like there's understanding on their faces when I read for them live, or they get back to me with an email after the fact and tell me how things are in sync. The vibes just change as you go through life. I think some people will have periods where they're super into tarot, and then as readers we kind of need a sabbatical sometimes, where we step away from it and do something completely different. I think that what has remained consistent, though, because I'm a tarot reader and because I'm I guess more attuned to the woo-woo part of my life, is that I'm always aware of my vibe. Other times in my life, I go through things and I'm not really understanding what's going on, but because of my practice of tarot and because I've gotten so used to picking up on little signs and symbols and clues, I'm more understanding of myself and what I want out of my practice, how I want to be showing up for other people, how I want to hold space for them through the cards, whether that be online, in person, at events, teaching, learning, all of that just shifts and changes. And I think what I really want to say here is your growth as a tarot reader makes the whole practice more interesting. I think trying to change your practice as you change as a person is so important. And I think it's something that we should pay attention to as readers. Pay attention to what you're interested in. Pay attention to the decks that you like, the systems that really call to you. Do you want to do freestyle forever, or do you want to be very rote in the way you read? Everything can change at the flip of a coin, I guess. And because you're a tarot reader, you have the ability to pay attention to what vibe works for you and how that can make you a more effective reader for others and even for yourself. I hope that what I've shared has been useful to you, interesting to you, and has taught you a thing or two about what it is to read tarot over a number of years. If you have any comments or stories you want to share with me, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at practical_magical, or send me a message at sparksofmagic@gmail.com. Send me a comment down below and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, and I hope to share some more over here over the next couple of months. Bye.